Well, what a great start by Tyler Jackson tonight. Did an outstanding job, and our pitching staff in general. We got 8 out of 9 leadoff hitters out. He got every leadoff hitter out that he faced with only 1 walk on the night, so thought he threw the ball very, very well. It was great to see him come out and establish the bottom of the strike zone. He had his slider going tonight and was very, very aggressive. I thought his tempo was really good, executed pitches and did an outstanding job. It was also good to get a number of relievers in there. Thought Campbell threw the ball well. Ryan Miller, it was good to get him in there, located his pitch as well, and get Beasley in some action. Hadn't pitched in a while, and those are guys that we feel like we're going to have to count on this year. They're going to be a big part of our bullpen, so it's good to get those guys into the ball game. Very, very pleased with our pitching staff and our defense. Only 2 walks, no errors. So again, our guys are doing a really good job of limiting the free pass. Offensively, I thought we were okay. We kind of came in spurts. In the first and the second, we got things going in both of those innings with 2 outs. Andrew Cox, 2-out double, scored a couple runs. And then KJ Bryant, it was great to see KJ have a good night offensively. Hit a couple balls hard, got a safety squeeze down, so did some good things for us tonight. It's good to get KJ back in the lineup. Scored 2 runs and drove 2 in. Reed Rollman had a great night, had 3 hits, scored 2 runs. Middle of the order did a nice job. Pender and Cox drove in a few. And Robert Jolly, again, just been red hot, got 2 hits, scored 2 runs, and drove in a run. So we had the big inning in the 8th. It was a tight ball game, up until then, and we broke it open in the 8th inning. But overall, I thought we swung the bats okay. We got to do the little things a little bit better. Need to move runners over better. Got to do a better job. Runner at second base, less than 2 outs. We got to have more intent on being able to move that runner over. But it's hard to argue with 9 runs. Overall a good effort by our guys tonight.
Coach, Jolly batting .500 on the season. Safe to say he's been the surprise of the season for you so far?
One thing Robert's always been able to do, he's always been able to hit the ball to all fields, and I think right now he's just doing a really good job of hitting to his strength. It's just really, really good to have him in the lineup right now and see him be able to do what he's doing at the bottom of the order there and he's caught very well. So very, very pleased with Robert, and it was good to get Chris Williams a little bit of action. He just had his stitches taken out of his hand a couple days ago, and I wanted to try to get him in there if at all possible. It was good to get him in and work and let him ease his way back into it. But yeah, Robert's been doing a phenomenal job for us.
You've been experimenting a little bit with the lineup. You still feel good about leaving Jolly down at the bottom and get a jump start on the order?
Well, I think that I'm a big believer in when a guy's having success, you want to try to leave him where he's at. Could I bump Robert up? Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument to hit Robert in a bunch of different spots in the order. But the one thing that Robert brings to the table right now is when we do flip the lineup back to the top, he's getting on base. So it gives our guys, hitting 1, 2, and 3 an opportunity to hit with a runner on base. So, and I'm a big believer in production and balance throughout the lineup. If you got a guy down in the bottom of the order that's driving in runs and scoring runs, that's a good thing. Sometimes, you see a lineup, and once you get past number 5 in the order, you can kind of run through them. And we don't want to be that type of offense. We want to have production throughout our lineup, and Robert provides a big boost for us down there at the bottom of the order.
What's the plan for Chris going forward, kind of a timetable for him?
It's going to really be just depending on how he feels. This injury it's really one of those, it's going to be based on how he feels and how we see him progress swing-wise. He's got to wear a brace over his hand right now, a pad. But this kid, got stitches out yesterday. He took probably 150 swings into cages yesterday afternoon. I mean, that's just the kind of kid he is. He's just a tough kid, and he wants to try to work his way back in. Took batting practice today, caught an inning. So, he's working very aggressively to try to get himself back ready to play. What's the timetable? I don't know. He can kind of go. It's just a matter of what he's able to do in terms of dealing with the pain of coming off that surgery to his hand.
Coach, what's the mindset of this team going into the rivalry series, and what do you tell the players that haven't played in it yet about this series coming up?
Well, I think the number one thing going into this weekend is understanding that South Carolina is a really good team. It's to me, the most important thing is understanding your opponent, understanding that you're facing one of the best starting pitching staffs in the country. A lot of people would argue South Carolina's got the best rotation in the country. You know, they got a guy in their number one who's, you know, going to go really high in the draft, or number two is going to go really high in the draft, and when number three is draft eligible, he's going to go really high in the draft, and they got a reliever that's 98, 99 out of the pen. So, and they've got a number of weapons out of the bullpen. So their pitching staff is going to be a tough test for us, and I think that's the big thing going into the weekend is offensively we have to try to make some adjustments to the type of arms that we're going to face. We got to be able to hit plus fastballs all weekend. So that's going to be tough. I mean, they're really, really good on the mound. And besides that, we know their lineup's very dangerous. We know they're a good club. We know it's going to be great crowds at all three venues. So we just got to kind of drown out the noise. I think that's the big thing and just play baseball. I'm not the kind of guy that makes that big of a deal out of one game over another. I'm a big believer in consistency, consistent approaches by your players, consistent preparation. I think wins over the long haul. And we've all been guilty of making it too big. When you make things too big of a deal, I think that's the wrong approach. So they're all important. Every game's important. We know we got a really good opponent this weekend, a quality opponent, and we need to play our best baseball to win the series, and that's really our big message going into this week.
Coach, your pitchers have 99 strikeouts this season against just 15 walks. Is that a pretty big difference from the way you started last year?
I'm just so proud of our pitching staff and Andrew C. and the job that he has done and the job that our pitchers have done. And I think the one thing that's so impressive to me is our newcomers have been able to contribute, and our returning pitchers are better. I just think that all of our guys are better this year, and that's been the thing that I've just been so proud of our guys. I thought we were going to be a good pitching staff. I really did. We talked about it as a coaching staff. There's just not a guy that you run out there that you say, I don't think this guy's going to be ready to get us outs this year. I think every guy that we run out there is a quality arm that can execute pitches and they compete. Our guys have been very impressive, and I think they're only going to get better the more comfortable they get, the more innings they accumulate over the year.
How do you weight and judge this series? It's still very early in the year. How is this a measuring stick for your team?
Well, I think it's always a measuring stick it's the game within the game. I mean, a measuring stick's going to be how well do we do as an offense against plus fastballs? You're facing plus arms. How well do we adjust timing-wise and approach-wise to what we're seeing in the box? What do we do pitching-wise in terms of execution? To me, the game is simple. It's about winning the 17 inches with the baseball. It's really that simple. Is when they make a mistake over that 17 inches, do we square the ball up on offense? When we get runners in scoring position, do we execute? And the teams that execute and do the little things are the teams that are going to win against really good clubs. It's going to boil down to who makes the most mistakes. At the end of the day, if we play mistake-free baseball, if we pound the strike zone, play good defense, and we execute offensively, we can beat anybody in the country. I mean, it's really that simple. It doesn't matter who it is. But if we don't execute with runners on base and we don't execute on the mound, we don't catch the ball behind our pitching staff, anybody in the country can beat us. So that's baseball. I think at the end of the day, measuring sticks are based on what we do and how well we play execution-wise, regardless of the opponent. But we know when you're playing a team like South Carolina, it's critical that you execute, because you're not going to get away with mistakes. You're not going to get away with leaving guys on base or not making pitches or not playing good defense behind a pitching staff. So it's going to be the biggest challenge for us is what are we going to be able to do against a really good pitching staff.
Coach.
Yep.
Thanks, Mark.